You're live. All right, let's do this thing. Let me go a bit bigger here, full screen wise. Turn my stuff up. Hey guys, how you all doing? Thanks for coming to hang out. Marvel says thank you as well. Let me turn this up a little bit. Let me know if you guys can see and hear me all right. For those of you coming in now, we are, as you guys know, doing the next 30-second voice lesson here together on stream. We have the poll here in the chat right now. Your choices are Ryan Kirby from Fit for a King or Trevor Stronach from the Black Dahlia Murder. So go vote in the poll. We're going to keep this open for a little bit longer, and then we're going to get started here on how I break these down.
Probably looked up how to pronounce Trevor's last name.
Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce his name. How's everyone here doing today? If you guys think someone would be interested in how I break these things down and how I make these videos, share this live with somebody right now. I'm going to go ahead and let the internet know that we're doing this in the first place. I'll do it on the school Instagram first. Hey, a bit tired. Yeah, things are good here. I just finished up teaching for the day, and I'm excited to do this video with you guys. We had a really nice beach day yesterday. That was really fun. Oh, we've got some more people voting in the poll above. Again, we're making the next 30-second voice lesson right now. So go ahead and vote in the chat, and we're going to get that going in just a sec. I'm going to turn some music on here in the background as well. Let me get that going. Whoop, there we are. Sit back down. When I try screaming in Trevor style, my voice gets tired way too early. So if we do that today, I'll kind of explain why that happens. Let me go live here. So yeah, make sure you guys vote above in the poll for what the next 30-second Sternad.
Yeah, that's how he pronounces it.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, we're gonna keep the poll open for I think 10 more minutes. I'll answer some screaming questions and stuff as well while I'm kind of letting the internet know that we're here, and then we'll kind of start the process of how we break this stuff down. I see some more people joining now, and I see some homies coming here on Instagram as well. What's going on? I don't know if you guys saw in my story, but we're here on YouTube Live right now. Say hi, everyone. We're doing the next 30-second voice lesson live right now. We have the poll for who the next artist is going to be in the chat, and you guys have a few more minutes left to vote, and then we're going to make the video here on live. I'm going to show you guys my process on how I make these videos and how I figure out how someone else screams and invent a new way of being able to do it. So if you want to come hang out, the link is in my story right now. I'm on the school account right now. I'm going to do this on my personal too. The link to the live is in the story right now. So come hang out on YouTube Live. Once again, say hello, everyone. Double chat. And again, you have a few minutes left to come vote in the chat for who the next artist is going to be. So I will see you guys in just a minute. We're on live right now. The link is in the story. Do not miss this. Come hang right now. Yee! Let me see what's going on here. We got 10 votes going. There we go. Not a main topic, but is there a way to practice false chords without being annoyingly loud? I mean, there are a lot of ways to practice the false chord. Yes, one of the best things you can do is kind of just work on your ability to get just the false chords moving by themselves. Kind of, if you don't have the space or the available time in a day to kind of work the full force, the scream itself, a great substitute is kind of working the components. Oop, I see we've got some more votes coming in. Keep them coming, guys. I'm gonna go live on my personal Instagram as well. We're gonna be starting the next 30-second voice lesson video and breaking that down here in just a minute. I'll give you some more time to vote as well. I see that there's 20 people here, but only 12 votes. So there's 8 of you who haven't voted yet. It's in the chat. If you can't see it, it's the thing in blue right there. It might be at like the top of the chat. It might be at the bottom, depending on like if you're on a computer or if you're on mobile, but it is there. Yep, there you go. I see some of you are finding it now. And again, we're choosing between Fit for a King or the Black Dahlia murder today. Hey guys, what's going on? You guys on Instagram. I put this in my story too. We're live right now on YouTube. Say hi, everyone. We're doing the next 30-second voice lesson right now. We're going to do the video and break it down here on live. And I'm going to show you guys my whole process for how I make these things and how I learn to scream like other people, but reinvent the way that it's done so it's healthier, fuller, and more sustainable. And again, the link is in my story right now. We're on the live right now. There's a few more minutes where you guys have to vote. And again, the choices are in the chat. You have a few minutes. The link is in my bio. Come hang out on live. We're already going. Come watch me make the next 30-second voice lesson. See you guys there. All right, so, oh boy, we're almost at a 50-50 split. Let's see what happens as more people keep coming in. Put on some music in the meantime. Music in the meantime. There we are. Seeing some more people coming. I know it's more of an artist technique video, but with your warm-ups, is there any particular methods you use for the really intense scream? So intensity is all about sound focus. So I guess one thing you could do is just focus on how far away you are focusing the sound. Like if you're, example, talking to someone right in front of you or farther away, that's kind of the same way you take a scream that's more casual, yeah, and make it a little more intense. It's the focus. So it's not really different exercises by any means. It's just more something you can keep in mind. If you're interested in the different warm-ups we have, I have a link to that down in the description. That's in our EVI Now program. I'm going to throw on some music in the background here while we wait for more people to vote. I'm going to throw on, I don't know. Oh, let me check the chat real quick. Another platform I can harass you on. We're bringing people here just because we know on YouTube, this actually lets more people know when we're doing this sort of thing, and it's not limiting as much of our reach. I don't know if you guys have noticed this in places like Instagram and our TikTok and things like that, that when we do something, it's really not letting all of you guys see it. So we're trying to bring you all together as best as we can. I see there's almost 30 of you in here, but we only have 22 votes. We're doing the next 30-second voice lesson right now. The poll is in blue in the chat right now, and you have a few more minutes left to vote. Your choices are Ryan Kirby from Fit for a King, or you already said it, what? Trevor Stranad from the Black Dahlia murder. Vote in the chat right now and we'll get this going. Who's not voting? Oh yeah, we'll be doing this more often. So if you guys want to see the vocalist that we put up in the poll in future videos, because we're definitely going to do this again, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification button right there to make sure you get notified when we're doing these lives, because we'll do our best to let you guys know that we're doing these things ahead of time. For people who haven't seen yet, hold on, let me exit this thing. For people who haven't seen yet, Can't Trust in Blood just hit over 100,000 streams on Spotify, which is insane. So I also wanted to say thank you about that. And it really means a lot that you guys have been enjoying the music that I've been putting out as well. I'm going to put that song on in the background here. Let me make sure this isn't going to blast our ears off. Oh, there we are. Give the chat a few more minutes here, seeing more people coming and going. And again, we're going to do the next 30-second voice lesson here together. I'm even going to make the video on live with you guys so you can kind of see how I do that. Let me let TikTok know we're doing this, because this is going to go up there as well. Let's see. How's everyone here doing today? Is throat singing a good temporary substitute for false chord practicing? I mean, if you can do that at a low volume, yes. And if you're going more of the deeper tone in there, that's the false chords about activating. So that can definitely be good. I don't know who either of those singers are, so I have no idea who to vote for. Take a second and listen to some Fit for a King and some Black Dahlia Murder. I'm going to put some on depending on who wins in a few minutes, but you guys will see. Please make the poll with Spencer Sotelo next time. If you guys want to keep seeing how we break these down, turn on notifications here on YouTube so you know when we're doing this again. Or if you saw us posting about this on our socials, turn on notifications for our different accounts so that you know when we're doing these things. Because you never know who's going to be in the next poll. You never know. If I scream longer, it feels like my throat's turning inside out. Yeah, that means you're using way too much force and pushing too hard and using too much air in your screams. You're going to want to rebalance that as best as you can. There are a lot of videos here on YouTube, on our YouTube channel here, about how to do that. Or you can check out our EVI Now program and learn even more. There's a link to that down in the description right now. And I got some friends on here. We're on live on YouTube right now. You can check the link in my bio right now for that. It's the YouTube link. So make sure you go to our YouTube channel and check out the live stream. I'm about to break down how we do these 30-second voice lessons, and we're picking the next artist in the chat right now. You guys still have a few minutes over there on TikTok to come join us on YouTube right now. So I'm going to show you guys how I make these videos, how I learned to sound like other vocalists, break it down, and then reinvent how the sound is done. So come over to join us on live to check out how we do that. Again, the link is in my bio right now. Come join us on YouTube. I'll see you guys in just a minute. Woo! All right. Here we go. Which one is the beefier singer? I think Trevor is like a bigger human because Ryan's kind of a smaller dude.
I think they mean beefier tone-wise, dude.
Well, I think this is someone that doesn't know who either of them are.
I know, but like beefier, like tone.
So in terms of the tone, I don't know if they did a Google search. Do you know Eric Alonso? No, I'm not familiar with that vocalist, but that's cool that you've done some work with them. All right, so now the song is finishing up. I'm going to check out the voting in just a moment. Oh boy. So I'm going to stop the music for a second. I'm going to go full screen with this so I can see the comments a bit better. So we're actually, oh my God, Trevor just came into the lead. Oh my God, I'm going to keep the voting open for a few more minutes. Oh my God, Trevor just stole it. Are you kidding? Whoa. Ryan's been winning for the last like 10 minutes and suddenly Trevor just slid right in. If you haven't voted yet, I'm going to start the 30-second voice lesson process in just a few minutes. Your choices are between Ryan Kirby from Fit for a King or Trevor Strnad from the Black Dahlia Murder. Ryan was winning until just a second ago and a few votes came in for Trevor. Holy crap, this is getting good. Let's see what happens if I give this a few extra minutes. When the live hits 15 minutes, maybe I'll end it. Whoop, is Trevor going up even a little bit more? Oh my God, I'll answer a few questions while we're waiting. Let me see, stoked to have a lesson with you this week. Oh, that's awesome, hell yeah. Super stoked. If any of you guys are interested in working with me directly in a lesson, I have a link to that down in the description. Oh my God, Trevor's going up. For those of you who are in the chat, vote in the chat right now who you want to see me break down in this video that we're going to do together here today. Oh my God. You guys have about 1 minute left to vote. If you guys want to make sure we can do more of these, copy the link of this video and send this to a friend right now. Let's get some more people in here and show more of you guys how we get this sort of thing done. All right, less than a minute left until I close the poll. Here we go. Oh, I get to see the Black Dahlia Murder on Friday. That's exciting. Yeah, both these bands are on tour right now. I think Trevor's going to win. Oh my God, you guys have a little over half a minute left. Here we go. If you haven't voted yet, it's in blue in the chat right now. This is exciting stuff. And I'm going to, again, show you guys how I break down the process. And we're actually going to do it here together. And then I'll probably take a few questions before we leave as well. Please, more Ryan Kirby. If he loses, he loses. I'm sorry. You guys have 15 seconds to get Ryan in the lead if you haven't voted yet. Whoop. Both 2 years ago, and your content's helped me a lot. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm glad that our videos here have been helpful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm ending the poll. Boom. So look at that. I don't know if the results post for you guys in here because it's just kind of gone now. Oh, there we go. Poll. So 40 of you guys voted. Trevor got 51%. Ryan Kirby got 48%. Oh my goodness. So we're going to break down how to scream like Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder today. And we're going to make that video here on live right now. Like I was saying when I was going live on my other accounts to kind of break this down, the best way to kind of go about this is to really think about every aspect of someone's voice. When you are a vocalist, the way you sound isn't just based on how you scream or how you sing or how you practice. It comes from like body language. It comes from how you carry yourself. It comes from like your kind of attitude, your expression, and the way you speak. So what I'm going to do is check out a couple different videos of just Trevor talking. I'm going to check out a couple live videos. We're going to listen to a couple of their songs on record. I know you guys won't be able to hear it as well because I'm not streaming the audio directly into the live. I haven't set that up yet, but we'll get there eventually. But with that being said, then I'm going to show you guys how to take that sound that you notice is there and have it happen in a way that's going to be better balanced and better suited for the body so you can more reliably make these sounds on a regular basis. And then we'll actually make the video here together. Actually, drummer, but I've always been interested in how this style of vocal works. Well, hell yeah, I'm glad that this is interesting to you. And again, thank you all for hanging out today. Now, before I even jump in, everything I'm talking about today and more is included in one of our newer courses in the EVI Now program, all about emulation. That's what this is today. That's what the 30-second voice lesson series that I do with different artists is. It's all emulation and our ability to mimic what we hear without necessarily having to do it the exact same way that someone else is. Being able to do it in our own way. Take your own voice and use your better decision making to kind of send that sound basically into whatever direction you want. So if the things that you are seeing here in the live today are interesting, and if you want to learn how to sound like your favorite vocalist and then be able to turn that into some of your own unique ideas, check out our EVI Now program by hitting the link down in the description, especially if you can't hang out for this whole live, because I'm not going to be leaving this video up this time. So this is it. Now, where I'm going to start, I'm going to open up another tab here. Let's see. I'm going to open up another tab and look at some, or listen to some of the Black Dahlia murder interview videos. Let's see. The Black Dahlia murder. Let's look at the last couple of years, because this is a band that's been around for a good while now. So let's see. And again, for people that are enjoying these live streams, make sure you have notifications turned on here on the channel so that you guys know when we're going to be doing these. And again, I'm breaking down how to scream like Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder, and we're going to make a 30-second voice lesson here together. So I'm just going to listen to what his speaking voice sounds like for a moment.
In my youth, I felt like the only person that was into the death period that I knew. Total like introvert at school,
Let me turn that up.
kind of person. You know what I mean? So my growing up really came after high school, came with this whole thing.
So what I'm listening for here when I'm listening to someone else talk is I'm listening for vowel sounds and consonants and kind of the way different things are being shaped. I'm watching Trevor's mouth movements. I'm kind of looking for like the different kinds of, like when he's like maybe laughing about something or excited about something, the difference in how his mouth moves versus maybe when he's a little more calm, like how it moves normally. I'm looking for like inflections, like the kind of melody he speaks from, like kind of like when you're doing impressions. and stuff like that. These are the kind of things I'm looking for when I'm watching this video and I'm listening for these different types of things. Let me play a few more seconds.
And any strength in life is from this experience.
In those early punks
into hardcore and so many different facets between your dead guy sound.
His mouth is very wide.
Swedish metal biting stuff that everyone was doing. So yeah, we existed in a hardcore scene in Michigan. We didn't know of.
We have a little bit of that, a little bit of air escaping through the nose. He's kind of talking in a bit more of a forward way. His mouth is kind of wider, and it kind of makes the sound move like this. And when he's talking, it's kind of moving between these pitches that I'm doing right now. Let's see what happens when he gets a little more amped up.
Definitely has to play with. It had to be out there somewhere, but there wasn't like that unity going on. That
a lot of upper teeth action.
You know, seeing the same people at different shows and house show kind of circuits that kind of
that's going to be important later.
And they never know any better, right? And they sell better for 25 plus, and it's like starting a whole cycle. Right.
There's a lot of S, a lot of air.
Do you remember any of the
a lot of
like
S?
the bands
Keep that in
you
mind,
played
guys.
with in those early shows?
Let's check later in the video.
Short hair and looking like a serial killer or whatever, right? Or the comedic aspect we kind of injected into.
So it's kind of looser. There's a lot of
photos.
We didn't want anyone, but at the same time, the consonants are very crisp.
We'll let the music
do the talking for a second. If you've ever listened to the Black Dahlia Murders music, you know that the pronunciation is pretty on. Even when he's talking here in this video that I'm watching, the mouth movement is very relaxed. Like there isn't a whole lot of effort going into it, but there's a lot of space. He's letting the mouth be relaxed. So the mouth is actually pretty open, even though it's a bit more on the wide side like this, instead of like the tall side or like as open vertically as you guys might see when I'm talking to you guys here in these lives. It's a bit more relaxed this way, and there's some of that S leakage and some kind of nasal leakage as well, and yet the movement is precise enough because it's loose that you still get a lot of clarity. So it doesn't just all become garbled. So that's something to keep in mind. Now I'm going to see if I can find a moment where he's talking a bit louder and see what changes in like the pitch he's speaking from, in the way he's moving, something like that. Let's see what happens as I go further.
Just trying to do our thing, man. Come on.
So even when he's kind of imitating something and talking louder, you start to hear that kind of closed off sound in the back of the throat. That's the pharynx, which is this ring right above the larynx and just underneath the jaw. It's kind of creating an hourglass shape. That's the difference between speaking like this, like talking the way that I am now, versus kind of pinching it a little bit, like this. And then when you're trying to send it forward, it's almost restricting it a little bit. Hear what I mean? It's not like totally, open and like booming by any means. Like, that kind of open sound when you're trying to like send sound farther, but in a fuller way. It's a bit more restricted. So it's like the sound's being sent forward and held back a little bit at the same time. Remember that. Sent forward, but held back a little bit at the same time. For people coming into the chat now, we're doing a 30-second voice lesson video here together on how to scream like Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. And I'm breaking down kind of how I do this. If you can't stay for the whole video, because I'm not leaving this up, all of this and way more is included in our newer course in the EVI Now program, all about emulation. If you want to get access to the whole program for as little as $20 a month, the link is down in the description if you can't hang out for this whole video today. So let me watch a little more of this.
Just like not getting it.
There's a lot of upper teeth. So as you guys have probably seen in my other videos and even in content here on our YouTube channel, showing the teeth makes a big difference in how the sound is actually sent out. And it's the difference between something being kind of bright sounding and kind of dark sounding. It's a lot of mouth shape change, a lot of where the teeth are sitting and things like that. See what I mean? So that's going to be important when we're building the scream as well. Now I'm looking for one more thing. I want to see when he's trying to talk lower what happens.
And totally green app is huge for me.
Huge.
Sorry, with Mark.
So the teeth thing, when he's speaking less excited, goes away. He goes from kind of making this face when he's talking to making this face. And it's not necessarily neutral, like the straight line face. That's terrifying that I just made it all of you just now. It's kind of dipped down like that. See what I mean? It's smaller and it's curved down. Smaller and curved down. Remember that. He's speaking lower with less energy, and because of that, the mouth is curving down and it's smaller. That's going to be important for the different types of screams that Trevor does. And again, we're doing a 30-second voice lesson here on how to scream like Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. Thank you guys in the chat for voting on that. So now we've seen enough. So I've watched just, again, like one video that's just Trevor talking. And without all my explanations, I've only really watched maybe 30 seconds of this. And I've listened to lots of different ways he talks. I've noticed the way his mouth kind of just hangs out naturally, the shapes he hangs out in, the way he pronounces his consonants versus his vowels, where stuff's kind of placed a little bit. When teeth are showing versus when they're not, different types of movements, how higher sounds behave, how the lower sounds behave, how his body and his mannerisms are kind of responding to that a little bit, and the breathiness is kind of there sometimes, and then sometimes it's not. And he's changing those variables with stuff in the back of the throat. Let's see how much of that is happening when he's screaming. So now I'm going to pull up some live footage of this band. I'm not going to go straight to listening to them on record because that's going to be the least accurate. And the reason for that is because when you're listening to a band's album, you're hearing the best possible version of what they're doing. You're hearing editing, you're hearing processing, you're hearing ideal circumstances. And in order to really break down how someone's voice works, you really want to take a closer look at what happens when you can't control all the variables going on around you. So watching live footage where you can is going to be the most helpful because that's where you're going to see and hear the most natural movement and those really quick decisions on how to move from one idea to the next. So that's what I'm going to check out now. And again, all of this has to do with emulation, and that's what the next course in our EVI Now program is about. It's a few courses back. It's one of the newer ones we just put up recently. It's all about emulation. If you want to learn more about that and join our program, you can check out EVI Now by hitting the link down in the description. But let me go ahead and find some live footage of Black Dahlia Murder live. Let's see. So one of the things that they did most recently, well, I'll check something that's a little more pro shot. I'll check out something from that live stream that they did last year in that church. That was really cool.
Folks, this is Neil Hamburger asking you to kindly
move this over a little bit. Oops, I skipped the video by accident. Let's try that again.
Folks, this is
so
until then, unless
So this is going to start in just a second, but I'm watching a Black Dahlia live stream video from last year now, and I'm just going to watch for if there's similar mouth movements and what that does to the scream. Let's see. Okay. I know you guys will be able to hear it as well. So the face is actually pretty relaxed here. What we're looking for is the downward thing sometimes, and the teeth thing other times. And I'm going to see what happens here. I'll figure out screen sharing for these streams at some point too. So it's the same mouth shape he's making. For those high screams, he's doing that same mouth shape. Let me come back to the stream here. So for those highs, he's making that same shape, and nothing looks visibly tight, but he's making that wider, really toothy smile to get those high screams out. And you can kind of hear in the high scream, it's being sent forward, but almost being held back a little bit at the same time. And we'll compare this to how it sounds on record as well. The sound isn't as loud as you would think it is. It's not as powerful as you would think it is. It's not taking up nearly as much space as you would think it is. And because of that, we want to accommodate for that in the way we actually make the sound, because we don't have to worry about how much power is going into it. Because you can hear, it's kind of the thing he did when he was more excited. Hey! He was making that kind of wider mouth, showing a lot of teeth, but kind of holding it back a little bit with the pharynx. I'm going to show you guys ways of doing the held back sound without tension, but I just want you to know that first before we go into it. Let's see how the lows are happening. So, that shape came back again. And he's not really doing anything differently with his body. Him being so calm is what's letting the vocal kind of move back and forth, kind of letting it glide around without much difficulty. Now, from here, because it's lower, that mouth shape he made earlier that I talked about, the curve down, came back. He's doing that even here. Most vocalists aren't doing anything super crazy to get their sound. They're just kind of doing what comes naturally, which means the ideas are coming from how they carry themselves, from how they already express things. So if you can figure out how someone naturally expresses things, you can kind of assume those same things are probably happening when they're screaming, and it has a large part to do with what you're actually hearing in the moment. See what I mean? Let's dive back in. There's a lot of, the arms are kind of up a little bit. It's kind of more that cryptic sound. He always does the arm up thing. I'm just waiting for another low to happen. So the lips are also going out a little bit. Let me stop that. So the lips, the lips are kind of pulled back a little bit for that high, and they're kind of out a little bit for that low. That's going to give it a little bit more body. Like even right now, if you talk kind of like this with that downward shape, but then kind of stick the lips out a little bit, hear what that does to even my speaking voice? It's going to do the same thing to the scream. It's going to give it a little bit of extra buzz in the low end, some of that excitement factor to make you think it's louder, more impactful, and more powerful than it actually is. The scream doesn't have to be anything crazy if you have good ideas as to then what you choose to do with it in the moment, and can kind of express and create these kind of moving ideas in a way that are entertaining. That's really a sign of a great vocalist, the kind of performative aspects like these. With that being said, now I'm going to try and find phone footage of them live. I'm going to be looking for not good quality footage on purpose with less editing, because even this right now, what I was just watching and kind of basing some of these things on, are a live stream that they made. So again, it's ideal situations, and this could be the best take that they did. So now I'm going to find something from a show where there isn't any time to correct anything, and we're going to see if there are any major differences in how the sound is happening. Let's go ahead and find something here. So naturally, because it's going to be phone footage, there isn't really going to be a way to see very well what's happening, but we'll be able to hear it pretty all right. For example, here is a video from yesterday. So someone just posted some footage of Black Dahlia on this tour right now and uploaded this video yesterday. Let's listen to see how this is happening. Oh, so they got all the bands actually. Let me skip ahead. That's After Burial. Also a very good band. Let's see. There's that held back sound again at the high. And the low, it's very quick attack. They're not very held out. And because of that, they don't need that much air. That's kind of a big thing you notice, even watching him walking around playing a show. Again, this video went up yesterday. All the movement live is based on like kind of doing this kind of orchestration kind of arm movement idea. And that's what's creating all that energy, but he's not really using much force to kind of get the vocal to happen, which is why someone like Trevor has been able to sound as consistent as he has over like the last so many years. Let me check out the chat here a little bit. For those of you joining us now, I'm making a 30-second voice lesson video on how to scream like Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder right now. And I'm just showing you guys kind of how I figure these things out. Let me see. Oh yeah, mouth shape is everything. Mouth shape is everything. And I'll be checking the comments periodically to answer some questions as well. So now that we've listened to Trevor talk in an interview, we watched the live stream, we checked out live footage from one of their shows that was yesterday that just went up. Now I'm going to pull up one of their records and see what translates and what might be a little larger than life because it's an album recording. So now I'm going to open up one of their records here. Let's see what happens. I liked the second to most recent record best of theirs, actually. It's called Nightbringers. One of my favorite tracks on here is Matriarch. I'm going to play that now. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. It's a little loud. So I'm going to be listening for these same kind of sonic qualities in the actual sound itself. I'm going to be looking for the toothiness and listening for the toothiness because I know what that does. And this. So there's a lot more variation in the sound already. You can hear the pitch moving around. You can hear that moving around as well. A lot of that variation is coming from, again, that looseness of the mouth and not putting too much tension behind anything, so you have that flexibility. Okay, now, an important thing I left out. We need to identify what type of scream he's doing. Just from hearing the high alone, at least I can, I'll show you guys how to hear this. I can hear that that's a fry scream. That is 100% a fry scream because you're hearing that interruption in the vocal cords in the way that the scream gets sent out. And it has that kind of different bite to it, whereas the false chord sound wouldn't really have that. And in the low, it's not a false chord because that's a little too heavy. But if you take that fry sound and send it down, that's a bit similar. That's what I believe he is doing, and that's what I'm hearing out of him. We may be able to fuse a little bit of false chord into that just to give the screams a little extra depth so that they don't have to be as small, and we can have the scream take up a bit more space and have a little more energy to it. That's kind of what I'm demonstrating here. Just because one person makes one decision doesn't mean you guys have to do that as well. There are a lot of different ways to do things. So, so many memorable riffs. Yeah, absolutely. And again, for people coming in, I'm doing a 30-second voice lesson on how to scream like Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder right now. So now I'm going to take my false chord version of that sound, my fry, the false chord high, and then the fry high, and see what I can do to kind of shape along with it as I'm listening. I'm going to kind of do this in real time here. So I'm not going to explain as much right now, but just kind of watch what I'm doing. I'm hearing the mouth shapes. A lot of extra mouth movement. I'm hearing the melody too. If I let a little false chord in there, it sounds better. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. Victim! A lot of tongue movement. Not secretly, not carefully! Belongs to me! Alright, so let me come back here. Okay. So I did that kind of fast. But the part of the reason for that and matching the sound really quick is because it's a band that I already listened to. I have to take a little bit more time to do this with a band that I'm not as familiar with, but because I already really enjoyed the band, I already kind of have the sound in my head a little bit. Because of that, I'm kind of used to hearing these songs and like the inflections in there. I can hear like the way the pitch is moving around. So if you take that sound and move the mouth in a similar kind of fashion, hear how you can kind of get kind of a scale out of it? You can kind of mimic the way the sound is moving around and kind of like the melody of the screams, as it were, and implement that into what you're doing when you're kind of emulating someone else's style. I'm doing that with that low as well. I'm getting a little bit of my false chords involved so I can get in there a little bit, giving it a little bit more death metal influence. So there's a little more body to it. And then I'm going to actually not restrict the high as much. So I'm going to take that kind of squeezing that Trevor's doing up here, and I'm just going to use the glottal attack, which is the same area, but it's just a little of it. It's like when you make that sound. So if I take a fry scream, wow, that sound! Combine it with this mouth shape! And then add a little of that. And if you kind of move the mouth around a little more than you need to, you kind of get both halves of the sound, that kind of throatiness and the piercing of the sound. And I know because the room isn't treated in here yet, that's probably echoing around like crazy, but that's kind of how you can shape that fry scream into having the same kind of qualities that Trevor's highs do. And if you listen, I'm not actually basing it on that high a note. It's kind of around here in my voice. Like I'm kind of excited. Remember when he was excited? It was around that same note. So if you build that sound from around here, you can kind of build that into the sound because you're doing it from a similar note that he is. I'm going to prove another point now. Backtrack to that live video again. Let's hear how the talking is happening on stage. Let's hear what the stage banter is like. Let's just double check the way the voice is functioning in that kind of setting where you kind of don't have time to think at all and you're just doing what's coming naturally. So let's pull that video up again. Rita Murder Live! Pull up that video again. Where was that? I'm just going to use this video. This was live in Boston. Hey, that's where we are. This is from last year, probably right before this year. They uploaded it last year. Now! Like he's kind of holding onto that high. Right, skill! So I'm just listening, I'm trying to find what voices he can talk. Son! Helpful to hear the mouth shape variation though. Wow! Wow! Come on, talk to me.
I want to see a circle pit from hell!
Hell!
Get your ass in there, let's go!
Let's go! Hear that? Oh! He's talking from here! Wow! And when you add this pitch, and that kind of held that feeling, and the fry, you get wow! Wow! And then you get held the scream in the back of the mouth, and you don't let it go that far! And it lets you move the mouth around a little bit more to get some extra variation in what's going on. For people hanging out in the chat now, I'm doing the 30-second voice lesson on how to scream like Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. That's kind of what I've been working on here. But notice how you don't actually have to hear that many different things to kind of break this down. I listened to a few seconds of him talking in an interview. I watched a little bit of a live stream. I just watched some live footage of theirs from recent history. I listened to a record of theirs for a little bit, and I can hear the mouth shapes. I can hear the melodies. I'm hearing the way the voice is just functioning normally. I'm seeing similar patterns. I'm looking out for movement. I'm looking for how to connect these dots a little bit. And now I can kind of surmise how to scream like that. And don't worry, I'll answer some questions here as well. If you guys are interested in more about how I do this process and how to kind of go about this yourselves with any vocalist you want, hit the link down in the description for our EVI Now program. There's a whole course in there, one of the newer courses, that's all about emulation. That's what we're doing today. This is all emulation work and how to take what you're hearing and not just copy it exactly, but pick apart the attributes that are in there and kind of reflect that in what your own voice is doing to find kind of your own unique way of getting the sound to happen. Now, with the fry scream, we want to make sure we're not forcing it too hard. And a lot of times with fry lows, it's really easy to kind of croak them out a little bit. So I'm adding a little bit of false chord to the Trevor low. So it's not just like kind of that sound. But I'm adding a little bit of depth. But I'm kind of holding it back in the throat a little bit. Like kind of letting some of the air leak through the nose a little bit. So I'm kind of talking like this. So sound comes out like this. See what I mean? And that's what kind of lets the sound, gotta be like that. With that high, it's just, again, letting the fry be natural. You're getting that pitch he was doing that sound from. That kind of held that feeling, man. And then just setting the scream through that. But then almost like letting the scream hang right here, but then holding on to it and not letting it go beyond this point. Because if I let the sound go farther forward, that's kind of more the scream I would do with my own stuff, but like it almost goes too far forward. It almost projects too much and it doesn't sound right anymore. So even though more open is more correct form-wise, it doesn't work for that style. It doesn't work for trying to emulate that kind of sound. So you need to figure out ways to kind of suspend the sound in the air around you without necessarily just clamping up to make it happen. Because you don't want to accidentally cut off the sound source a little bit. You want to be careful with that sort of thing. If what we've talked about here in this video has helped you so far, make sure you're subscribed here to the channel and turn on notifications for our YouTube channel here so you know when we do the next one of these. Every subscribe really helps. Now, and again, I'll be checking the comments periodically for questions as we move forward, but I think we're ready to kind of build the sound steps for how to do this. I haven't done one like this in a while, which is why I kind of wanted to tackle this in live today to kind of show you guys how I do this. I understand totally well that English isn't everyone's first language. And there are people all around the world that want to learn how to scream. And a lot of you guys that probably speak multiple languages here in the chat as well. And we always want to make sure we're accommodating for everyone all over the world when we're helping people learn how to scream and making different videos like this. So I'm going to actually teach in the video without saying anything. I'm going to use different sounds and different pitches to kind of demonstrate how you can scream like this, and I'm not going to say anything in the video. So I'm going to show you guys how I kind of come up with these things. This one, thankfully, is a bit more simplified because it's just highs and lows, and it's not a huge amount of in-between stuff. If there were a lot of variables, it would be a little more difficult to do in just one video without words, or I would have to do multiple videos. So with that being said, I can kind of demonstrate both things kind of quickly here in one video without having to like say anything, because it is more or less all based on one thing, just letting a little bit of false chord into that low if you want to. I might include both in the video, but I also don't want to like do too much in one thing. That's the other thing I think about with these 30-second voice lessons. I try and simplify it as best as I can because I know that there are people of all levels watching these things. And you don't want to put out something that's way too complex because people can get hurt if you try and do too many things all at once. So I try and make these kinds of vocal videos as easy to follow as possible for the benefit of everybody. So let's think about this for a second. I'm going to make a list in my phone here. Let's think about the lows first. Make a list here. Now, there's no way to really write that down, but that kind of U shape, it's like a curved down mouth shape. We start with an open vowel. We move it to like that U, because it's not up here. It's not resonating up in the head. It's kind of trapped under here a little bit. And with a little bit of air leaking through, like the way he was speaking. And it was kind of down here. And even that was kind of throaty. We can get that just from the curved shape. So to a U to that different mouth shape. And the tongue stays nice and loose. That's kind of the key. And the back of the tongue might be lifted a little bit to take and turn it to That kind of creates some of the pulled back sound. Let's do that instead. For that low, let's not rely on the pharynx. Let's just put the tongue up a little bit. So becomes becomes There we are. Then all we do is add that sound with this sound again. No. Hear what I mean? And it gets that right sound. We're having the tongue in that spot. And it gives you the correct sound. And it's kind of nasally sounding without just sending a bunch of air through the nose as well. For those of you who can't stay for the whole live, make sure you have notifications turned on for our different Instagram accounts or TikTok as well if you're joining us from over there, to make sure that you don't miss out on when these lives are happening. Because I'm not going to be leaving this one up. Now, cricket inhales. Oh my goodness. So, and make sure you're subscribed here to the channel because I'm going to do more of these and let you guys pick who we're going to be doing in the chat and more polls like we did today. So definitely keep an eye out for these live streams that we've been doing during the week recently to make sure you don't miss the next one. Now, that's kind of the low. Let's talk about the high. It's that so to wider mouth shape. And you can kind of lift the tongue up a little bit here as well. Add a little bit of that pharynx. Hold the sound in kind of three-dimensional space. And then send the sound to there, and then make the fry from there. No, and that's the sound. No, and he's kind of holding it from there. Now, I have to pick a section of one of their songs real quick. I like that song I was listening to. Hold on, let me pull that back up. Let's find a section. So this is the chorus of Matriarch. And if it's content to this world not sacredly, now the children that belongs to me. The children that belongs to me. I already know the song, so that's helpful. That's the other thing. Sometimes these take a little while for me if it's a band that I'm not as familiar with, because I have to know a song that is already more well known by the band and then learn the song and then make sure I don't mess up the lyrics at the same time. So let's see here. Recap. Low. High. No. So that's kind of both sounds. So now I have to fit in the low demonstration, fit in the high demonstration, fit in that part of the song, say what I'm doing, and do all of that in 30 seconds. So that's kind of the challenge here with making these different videos that I do for you guys. And as promised, again, I'm going to make the video here on camera as well. So let's see. I always want to shoot these in 4K, but then it never works because none of the social media platforms can handle the 4K footage. They just can't do it. So now, let's see. I don't want to leave this screen, so I'm going to have to figure out where to sit to kind of make this happen. Oh, this angle kind of works. Let me pick specifically where I'm going to do this from. Because I can't do a section of the song that's too long or it will take up too much useful information in the video. Let me go back a little bit. Let's count the seconds. A little farther back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about 8 seconds of song. That's not bad. So that's another thing I think of as well. Something that's going to demonstrate everything I'm talking about here in the video without taking up too much time. Because you want to make sure you don't focus too much on execution. That's kind of something I talk about a lot in the chorus as well. Like if you decide to join us in our EVI Now program, the link is down below in the description. And if you want to support us in any way, that's the best way to do it because that enables us to give back to you as well. Oh, we've been here for an hour, but this is something I talk about in our course that's all about emulation. You don't want to focus too hard on the execution and the context because as you guys have seen, I just sprinkled that little bit on last, and it's infinitely more about the components and the moving parts that are happening like earlier on and all these differences in like how the speaking is being done and things like that. Because as you notice, like that's entirely where the tone came from. See what I mean? So never get too hung up on the context. And when you're trying to sound like someone you enjoy for inspiration, don't work harder than you have to try and get that sound to happen. Keep that in mind. And for more stuff like this, again, you can check out our EVI Now program by hitting the link down in the description. But now, I have the different vowel sounds I want to do. I have the low, I have the high. I know how to get there without talking about it. And I have the part of the song selected. Now, you guys are going to watch me record this a bunch of times until I get it right on camera. I've never done this on live before. This is kind of interesting. So let me just get the tone in my ear one more time before I try this. Carefully! Belongs to me! Whoops. Let's see. Delicious! Never care! God! Sacredly! Carefully! Desertedly! Me! Follow! Okay. So, let's give this a shot, guys. Because I'm just going to say Trevor. I'm not even going to try and say his last name in the video. I'm just going to say Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. Okay. I'm going to make sure the lighting is right. Because fun fact, guys, the way social media works, if I don't get the lighting just right, Instagram and TikTok and things don't even let you see that I did a new video in the first place. It doesn't make any sense. It's totally backward, but that's just the nature of the world we live in. That's why I have it's off camera, but I have like the ring light right there. So now I'm going to make this 30-second voice lesson with you guys watching. No pressure or anything. So let me lock the lighting. Lock that. That's the thing I like about the iPhone. I can get the lighting I want and then lock it in. I actually only learned that recently. And I've had this thing for fucking how long now? All right. Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. Ma, no. I forgot to say that one was fried. So that's the difficult thing when I'm making these. I have to demonstrate right before I make the sound what type of scream it is. I'll keep the low to just false chord. Let's make it challenging. I'll have this be a compound one. I've never done one of those with a 30-second voice lesson yet. That's exciting. So let's try that again, shall we? You guys should see the amount of drafts that I have just in my phone that I just never get rid of. That are things like that where I'm screaming and then it's me being like, oh, wait, damn it, and then I stop. Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. Ma, moo, oh. other thing is, in order to do these well, to do these effectively, I need to make sure that I do the descriptions simply enough, but quickly enough to make sure that I can do them all in sequence and demonstrate before the 30 seconds is up. That's kind of the challenge and why I really enjoy making these 30-second voice lessons for you guys. Because the whole thing is it has to be 30 seconds long. And again, I'll answer some questions after this as well. Let's try that again. So now that I've done this a couple times, I know I have to do it kind of faster. So let's try this again. The struggles of being a social media person with hair. All right, let's try this again. Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder. Nope, start that again. Let's try it differently. Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder. I forgot the lyric I was doing that time. So now, this is the other thing that happens when I'm making these. I was focusing a bit too much on the moving parts, and then I forgot the lyrics to what I was going to do. Let me just remind myself real quick. Let's see. That's loud! So I wasn't doing this part. I needed to wait a little bit. That's what it was. I remember now. So now I get to do it again. Here we are. Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder. Did it in 29 seconds and a little bit of change. So now I have to watch it back and make sure that that actually sounds right, that I'm looking in the right spot on the camera and everything like that. Let me check that out. Let's see. Okay, I think that's right. Yeah, so I'll show that to you guys here as well. Let me see if that'll even. Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder. So here's how that came out. That's what we just did. There we go. So now, that's how I do it. And for those of you who have been hanging out for the whole stream, thanks for checking out how we do this. Sometimes some of them take longer than others. In this case, that was a band that I'm already familiar with. For people that are talking in the chat, because I'm seeing some stuff going here, I'm going to be doing polls here in the chat. So if you weren't here at the very beginning, I had a poll going between Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder and Ryan Kirby from Fit for a King. I think I said Fit for a King in there. I hope I didn't say Fit for an Autopsy.
No, it's a thing.
Because I would totally do that. Joe's great too, don't worry. But I'll definitely be doing more of these streams as well. But if you guys have been interested in like how I do these things, or if you're just getting into the live now and you missed out, because again, I'm not going to be leaving this video up. Make sure you hit the link down in the description for our EVI Now program, because all of this and way, way, way more is what I talk about in our course on emulation. Like I've done today, this was just how to sound like one guy. And even though you can kind of simplify it, you can see from what I did here, there's a lot of detail that goes into this stuff. There's a lot of different ideas and looking at this stuff from a lot of different perspectives. And sometimes it takes combining a lot of different things to kind of get to where you want to be. And you can apply that to how you want to sound like other people as well, and then take attributes from those things. Like, for example, I love how Trevor's highs sound, and I've definitely borrowed a lot of elements of that in my own scream, but instead of holding it back and holding it in the back, I let mine fly forward, not restricted, and it just takes up more space. I've taken things I like about some other sounds and I've applied that to what I do, but in a different way with a different idea, and now it's something entirely my own that just sounds like me. This is how you can take emulation and stuff like this that you can learn from joining our EVI Now program and watching the course on emulation, checking out any of the 30-second voice lesson footage that we have here on YouTube and on our socials, or just from experimenting on your own. Because the point isn't necessarily to want to sound exactly like someone else. You want to take the things you like about it, learn what they are, and apply that to yourself and kind of experiment, like I just showed you here today, and kind of see what happens. I'll answer like a handful of different questions, but then I'm going to let you go for the day because we have to walk Marvel still. Life doesn't stop for anything. Hey guys, what's going on? Sorry I was late. And again, if you guys want to learn more about this and how I broke this down today, join our EVI Now program. The link is in the description. You can get access to everything we have for as little as $20 a month. And that includes the whole course on emulation, which is everything we did today and so much more about how you can get this stuff done on your own with any of the vocalists that you like. Think of it this way. If there's a vocalist that you want to see me break down in a video and I haven't done it yet, why don't you just do it yourself? I've given you all of the tools as to how to do it. And this was really fun too. I really enjoyed making this video today on live with you guys. That was really cool. I'm definitely gonna do this again. I don't think I'm gonna do another 30-second artist like this week, because now I already have this one, and I think I have something else set to post this week as well. But I'll probably do another one of these streams and break it down next week. I'm gonna go live.
It depends on where we are.
Oh yeah, I might be in the studio for different things musically next week. So we might do one of these next week. We might not. I know I'm going live a few more times this week to do some other stuff. For those of you who've been hanging out with us a lot, I'm going to be doing another dinner stream. I'll probably do another vocalizing stream because I'm still getting ready to go to the studio basically at any moment. As you guys know, is just kind of how it goes over here. But yeah, that's how to scream like Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. Now let me just check in here real quick. I don't see any questions. Did you see any questions I should answer?
There's the second to last comment is a question.
I don't think I have it, or I can see it. Do you mind reading it?
It says, it would be great to see, like, they want to know if you're going to do a video with, like, a larynx, I can't pronounce the word. Like, one of the videos where they show your throat. Like,
so I don't actually have the medical equipment necessary to shove a camera down my throat here, but stuff like that is definitely something we're thinking about. For sure, like different kind of scientific explanations as well. We have a lot of really cool stuff planned for the future. Naturally, COVID has delayed some of those plans because being able to be health-wise responsible, but doing stuff that involves mouth noises and putting equipment into the mouths of others is something you have to be careful with, of course, but that's something we're going to keep in mind for future content as well. And if you've been, again, enjoying what we do here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn on post notifications, and everything like that. And before I leave as well, totally separate note, because I got to post about this as well, because this just happened, I guess, in the last few days. My song Can't Trust in Blood just surpassed 100,000 streams on Spotify. That's insane. You guys are crazy. So thank you so much for all the support for what I've been doing with my own music. And as I was telling some of you guys last week, my new music video for Place of Pain is here on the channel right now. We just dropped that recently. And if you guys get that to 20,000 views by the end of this month, I have to put the phrase idiot sandwich into the lyrics of the next song I do, as the chat decided in recent history. But
someone wants to know if the EVI Now program includes warm-ups.
So yes, I did this the other day. If you probably missed this, we did a whole warm-up stream here on live. Make sure you have all my notifications on everything turned on so you don't miss these lives. I followed along with our own warm-up program that we designed here to work for any voice type. So we have a full warm-up section of the program. So if that's something you're looking for, yes, that is built in. Just hit the link down in the description for EVI Now, and you get access to everything. It's not a tier system. You just get all of it. The only thing you have to decide is how long you want to stay with us for. Now, again, the music video that I have up here now for Place of Pain, if you get that to 20,000 views by the end of the month and you still have some time, again, I have to put that Gordon Ramsay phrase into the next song that I do. And we're getting dangerously close. What are we at now?
16,000.
Oh God, there's only 4,000 views we need to get there. And you guys are crazy enough where I think you can pull it off. So again, if you want to check that out and get it to that view count faster, leave a like and a comment on the music video. That would really, really help. If nothing else, go leave a like and a comment on my new music video for Place of Pain. It would really mean a lot. And thank you guys for 100,000 streams on Spotify for Can't Trust in Blood. That's absolutely insane. That song's only a few months old. But I'm going to end the live here because we're going to get ready to walk Marvel. I'm going to post this 30-second voice lesson. I might post it tomorrow just because I like to post these around 2 p.m. Eastern time-ish, just to make sure everyone all over the world can kind of have equal time to see it the day it came out. So I'll probably post that sometime tomorrow. But thank you guys for being a part of that. And again, if you want to learn more about how to sound like other people and emulate different types of screams to add it to your own arsenal, check out our course on emulation. Join our EVI Now program by hitting the link in the description. If you want to take lessons with me directly, I really don't have that much space left for private students. So hit that link down in the description as well if you're looking for that. And if you were interested in hearing my music, if you didn't know what I was talking about today with some of the songs I've released, I have a link down to that below as well. But you guys are sick. I think we're going to be doing another stream tomorrow. I'll let you guys know the theme and everything online and everything shortly. And keep screaming responsibly. I'll see you guys next time.